Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lunch and Learn on Thursday, June 20th, 2024. We'll, as usual, give it a couple more moments for people to kind of start filing in. We did get a pre-submitted question from Tristan, who's in the lobby. We'll talk about that. We'll lead off with that. But if you have any more questions, like I said, besides Tristan, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll start putting some eyes on them and see if we can give you some solutions or some at least guidance towards a solution. So again, feel free. Like I said, we'll start with Tristan's question here in just a moment. But besides that, if you do have a question, feel free to put it in the chat and we'll get started here in about maybe 3 minutes or so, you know, give people time to kind of file in and us time to get our ducks in a row in terms of questions. All right, so we got another one in from Alex. So we'll kind of work on both of those here in just a moment, both related to forms. So looks like we're going to have a some type of form session here. So we'll get started here in about 60 seconds or so. I just like to give people kind of a moment to kind of get their bearings. And like I said, we'll start with Tristan and then we'll work our way over to Alex, starting with uh, repeaters and then working our way towards text boxes, I believe was the question. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started here, given it enough time. So we'll start. Tristan, I did read your message, but it's kind of a broad ask. So you're talking about scalability and dynamic sizing on a form with multiple data repeaters. Can you give me a little bit more insight, if you don't mind, about what we're working on, and we can maybe start building some stuff out for you?
Hi there. Sorry, I was
No,
just on the screen for a second.
you're okay.
Lekker. Sorry. Do you want me to just expand a bit on what I said?
Yes, please.
So what we have at the moment and what we struggled with a bit is a bit of like embedded, um, what do you call it? Embedded like lists. So you would have a list of a certain, like a list of things, and then with each of those lists is another list. So you have to display. Data in such a way. And then also, which is difficult, is to make the form scale based on how many children there are within the repeater, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay. So, we'll start with the second one. You want the form to be able to resize basically with however many like this kind of resize depending on how many results there are, both columns and rows. That's the resize prompt, the challenge?
Sorry, just say that again. Just give me, just
Um,
repeat that.
Yeah, you want the form to basically resize based on how many columns and rows show up in the repeater.
Yes, 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 yes. That
Okay.
would be great.
And then the second part was you said there was like a parent-child relationship of large
Yes.
lists.
Yeah.
So you select in one repeater and then another repeater populates based on that.
Yeah, yeah. If I could give some more context, so we have a scenario where we have different categories of files people need to upload.
Okay.
So let's say you need and we have templates for the categories, and then you select the templates, and it'll load some of the categories, and with each of the categories, there are 2 files or 3 files or 4 files. So then I would like to, in a sense, set up a repeater for each of the categories and then put a header for the category with each of the files then dynamically being displayed, and then another category. Um, but sometimes we want to display only two categories. Sometimes we would only display six. And that's where it's getting quite tricky. I think if you have one piece of data, like I only want to display the files, and
Hmm.
then it's nice and easy. But as soon as you incorporate like 6 categories, and with each of the categories there's an X amount of files, then it's starting to get very interesting. And I know there's the what is it called, the data grid or something
Hmm.
which you can use. We've just found that really tricky to put a data grid within a repeater and then getting the selected files like hoisted out. um,
Right.
yeah, sorry, yeah, I'm giving a bit much in at one
No,
time
it's
now, but
no, I'm appreciative. So th this form is where the users are actually going to upload their files.
no, no, no. They're
No.
uploaded in a different section. This
Okay.
would be, we want to send the files via an email, and then we want to pre-populate and show a preview screen of these are the files you've selected based off a template that we're creating. Yeah. So no, it's not where you would upload. No.
Okay. I'm just thinking about the path of least resistance. So for the, let me think here about the resize possibilities here. My first initial guess is for the resize,
Hmm.
there's no like clear and clean cut like resize to form option. Um, at least as far as I know, you might be able to do some of that with CSS where you establish the form width or height based on values
Hmm.
that are within it, but that's a little bit outside the scope of stuff that I know. Um,
Hmm.
I would potentially start with, and this is also something that I can probably work on building out. It's just because it is a little bit of a tall ask. I could work on building
Hmm.
it out and then send you like an email kind of file here in the next couple
Yeah, yeah.
hours.
That could be
But
cool. Yeah.
yeah, but so just to clarify again, you're going to have 2 to 6 sections of a data repeater that are established from files that were previously uploaded. And what values are you showing on that data repeater? Like the file
Uh,
name, or is it just like a preview button?
Yeah. So we want to repeat through all the categories first of all.
Hmm.
So then in those ones we would want to display just the title of the category, whether it would be a proof of address or a copy of your license or something like that. And then
Hmm.
within that we want to display the name of the file size, and then a button to preview. Yeah.
Name of the file, file size, name of the file.
I don't know if there's not really like I'm in the web part of Zoom.
Yeah.
I don't know if
It's not going to let you upload a file or anything,
I can't like
or
send a
screen share.
screenshot or something.
No, just because this thing is kind of public facing,
Oh
and it
yeah,
goes
yeah,
on
yeah. Okay.
YouTube, we don't want to accidentally put out some of your private data. But
Fair
if you
enough. Yeah.
email training@decisions.com, that'll come right to my inbox and I can potentially take
Okay.
a look at it.
Awesome. Let me quickly take a screenshot of just what it looks like now, and then when you have a look at it, I could
Yeah, that'll put
show
some
you.
context to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Let me find this quickly.
All right. And while you're sending that, I'm going to ask Alex about the multi-text box just so we can make sure we're kind of bouncing around a little bit. But I'll be right back
100%.
in just a moment. Hey, Alex. So you said you had some questions about the text box, the advanced text box. What was the question related to?
Yeah, so Yeah. So my problem is that, and this is a new thing in version
Mhm.
8.19. I don't think it existed in 8.6. And so if you put an advanced text box, so like I think it's called a mass text box,
Mhm.
throw that up on the screen, okay, and then set its value type to email, and give it anything as a data name, but change its value type to email.
All right.
Okay, and then make it so its outcome scenario is required. So if you run this form now
Hmm.
and press done, for some reason you get two error messages. So you can, yeah.
Mine is gonna, let's see
No,
here.
no, but if the value is empty, like
Ignore it.
leave the put it as ignore, yeah.
Okay.
And then so now press done, and it's going to give you two error messages, right?
Mhm. Sure.
So why is it giving me two error messages?
Um, my initial guess is just because if you make this required, like it'll have to have data in there. Um, if you make it optional,
No, no, and that is one of that's the solution. But I mean, why am I getting two error messages just because it's required? But even the other problem with this control is that if you turn it to optional, then it doesn't validate the control.
uh,
So if you set it to optional and save the form and then run it again and put in like a non-email address, it just
mhm.
completes the flow. It doesn't validate at all.
So the two validations, I mean, I know I'm just reading the prompt, but it's saying that it needs to have an email address and that it needs to be a valid email address. Those are the two prompts when it's required. Um, but if we make it optional, you're not going to get any validations. So my initial first thought would be to you could set and clear validations using an active form flow for making sure it's a valid email address. But I think that if you're going to leave it on required, it's going to keep both of those validation messages, even though they do say similar things, but they are slightly different. One saying we need an email address, and the second one saying it needs to be a valid email address. We probably should parse that down into a singular validation that says must be a valid email address. But I think that it's just um, maybe split that way for a reason that is outside of my design logic brain right now. But if you wanted to add those validations, like you wanted to,
Yeah,
uh,
so okay, so what options do I have? I mean, I've done this. I put it as optional and I created like an active form flow.
mhm.
But what do I have available to me to validate an email address format? Like, I mean, that to me was the
I
great
get it.
thing about the text boxes is that it has that logic built into it. But now I'm in a flow. What like is there a step that allows me to ask if a string is a valid email kind of thing?
Let me look up. So you're saying before you previously had that functionality?
No, no, I'm saying that's the great thing about the masked
Yeah.
text box thing is that it has that functionality built in. If you enter if you put it as required and you enter an invalid email format, it will give you an error message saying that your email address for your email address is invalid. But now that I have to put it as optional because I don't want to see two messages, which yes, I agree they are slightly different, but you know, they're if you don't put in a value that is I mean that seems obvious that it's an invalid email address. So and again in 8.6 it doesn't give me the two messages. So this is something that you guys have changed slightly. But so now that I have to put it as optional, and because by putting it optional, the control doesn't validate. So
Right.
and now so you're saying okay, create an active form flow, but what now I'm in a flow. What kind of step do I have to ask if a given text is a valid email address.
Let's see here. I'm kind of looking through our like support side and seeing if someone has done that. What is required to set? Yeah, because my initial thought goes towards you could just do some type of string match or something like that, but then in the spectrum of all the available email addresses and available extensions, like you can't even do like a string contains.com because they might have a .ca extension or they might have a
Yeah,
a
but and that's the
.org.
thing is that you
Yeah.
guys have already done the logic,
Hmm.
you know, to validate the email address format. So I was just kind of hoping that there would be a way to piggyback off of your hard work.
Let me see here. And this is just, we don't want that. Validations. What could I? And this might be something I'd have to put in front of the eyes of someone who has spent more time in here. So you just don't want both of the messages to pop up. You want it just to have one message that says email address is not valid. Is basically what is the end like end goal here?
Yeah, so I mean, I just want one message.
Okay. Okay. One message.
I mean, I don't care, but my end user community is like,
Right.
why
I
is
get
that
it.
other message there? So, and again, I have a support ticket. I opened a support ticket for this like in
Mhm.
when we were at 8.16 and I found the solution of optional. And in that particular instance, it was okay that it was optional. But now in this particular instance, it's not okay that it's optional. So now I've reopened the support ticket, but I haven't heard anything back, and I wasn't sure whether the whole reopening thing in the support world was,
I'll-
working or
Do you happen to know the support ticket number? Can you send it to me in the chat or email it to me by any chance? And I'll personally follow up on it. I mean, I could walk over to support here in a couple minutes or after this and make sure that someone gets some eyes on it today. Um,
yeah, I see. So yeah, I can put that in the chat.
yeah, if you write that down, I'll follow up with I'll make sure that they can put eyes on it today for you. Um, let's see here, make sure this thing pops up.
Although it's not letting me. Okay, chat.
And I'm gonna VT, I saw you putting some stuff in the chat too. I'm gonna unmute you here in a second and see if you can. Oh, there we go.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
give me 1 second before you run out of here. 615. I'm gonna unmute because there's another person here who's got a lot of insight. Let's see if I can find my participants. There we go. Hey VT, you want to fill in some of the gaps I maybe you have left there?
Yep, sure. So in the flow, you can just use regular expression, which is easy. But I'm trying to look at some internal services that has that validation. If I can find it, I'll put it in chat here. Because there should be one that Decisions is using when you create an account and you put like bad email. So there should be an internal service for that. And the reason that you're getting two validations is that because there are different types of validation. One is that the field is empty, and another is that it's not valid. You can remove that with the active flow.
Oh, just set a remove validation and
Yeah, you can get validations and remove one.
we don't want clear. But wouldn't that clear all the validations and not just a singular one on that form control?
there should be.
Let's figure out how I
Oh
make.
no, this one should be just for one, I guess. I think
Right, but
I've
it
seen
clears the
that.
validations of a singular control, not a singular validation with on that control, as far as my understanding of it is.
Can you check if you can get all validations and then just remove the one that you want and then set validations on the control?
And Alex, are there any other validations you use for this form, or is this the only one that gets used on it? Because
Oh
this
no,
is
there's other ones. Yeah.
okay. So yeah, then VT, I would probably advise against clearing validations off the entire form.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, can you get validations on the control?
Can I get validations on control?
Yeah, because you should have an array of those validations that you can remove one and then set validations on that control.
Okay, so you're saying that basically I would clear all the validations from the control and then set a new validation.
I should be able to get all. Robert, can you just expand that form category on the toolbox?
Sorry.
Form rules, yeah. And get, oh, you cannot get those. Okay.
Clear particular validation.
Yeah, if you know, then you can use this one. Yeah, you can hard code message and it should clear that.
Yeah, I mean, the more I'm parsing down into this form data advanced mass text box from the validation issues, you could figure out whether it's the first or the last validation issue, and then clear just that one.
Okay, well, I'm glad this is being recorded.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. No, because see, that's a form control data, not form control validation. I like the clear and then just set on just do it on the singular control. I mean, that sounds to me, unless that, and again, you guys would know best. Um, but you would need logic in there. Like, what would that VT? What would that logic look like between your set and clear? Once we clear, you said a reject something in
Well, you'd
this
have to
realm.
do a create data and create like a specific validation issue.
Yeah, on regular expression, you can Google it, but basically it's a clear pattern that any type of characters on the left-hand side, then it should contain add character and then some number of characters. On the right-hand side, then dot and the main name. If you Google like a regular expression to check email address,
Right.
should be able to see that. I would say in C#, but yeah, yeah.
Get out of here. Yeah, what I'll do is, Alex, I'll also build something out here, and see if I can figure out how to get rid of just one of those validations for you, or at least just set it so that you can type in your manual text using this regex. But it's just something I'm not familiar with, so I do
Yeah, no worries.
hesitate.
Robert,
Yeah, sure.
can you get that clear specific validation back?
Yeah.
So
Clear particular validation.
yeah,
What version are you
Uh,
running?
This is 9, but I can go over to an 8 point something if you'd like.
Oh, no, I was just wondering if I have that
Let's look.
step in 8.19.
This is 8.19, I believe. Yep. Let's just, I know I have a form over here somewhere. Yep, clear particular validation. It's on 8.19 as well.
so on the right hand side there, if you use that form control, and then you can hard code that validation issue. That's the email done. And then validation issue, build array, build data, break level will be whatever. I think it's like, can you check constant? That's going to be fatal, and message will be empty string or something, whatever. You can just hard code that.
We'd have to know what it is as a constant, right? Or can we select from
Yeah,
flow?
no, that's going to be constant. Whatever it says, like email string cannot be empty, something like that.
Just check and make sure this is required before I. Nice. Nope, there's still 2 of them. So what we got? Please, capital P, please enter email address with no space, or please enter valid email address. Let's see if we can clear that with a constant now in our form flow.
Did you specify that to run on the done outcome?
No, I don't believe so. I already forgot what this is supposed to be. Please enter a valid email address, I think. Let's look at it together here, VT. So what am I looking for here? Run for outcomes done.
Yeah, and I do believe Alex wants it to be vice versa. So it should display valid email address, but it should not display email should be specified, the first one.
Okay. I just don't remember what that validation
It's
message
in
is.
single quotes, name of your data name must be specified.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Email must be specified.
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
Is there a period at the end or anything?
No.
Run it startup. Okay. Still. Email must be specified. Please enter a valid email address.
Can you check what was the rule when it ran in the debugger? Right here.
Oh, sorry. Yep, I'll do it right now. Yep, thank you.
This second one.
This is a good ask, Alex. I'll be sure to follow up with you today. I'll figure something out. There's definitely a methodology. It's not going to be as straightforward as um just removing it, unfortunately, in properties, but there's got to be something along these lines for us to be able to do it. Um,
Yeah, no worries.
all right, so let's bounce back over. And like I said, Alex, I'll follow up with you, and if anybody feels inspired, you can feel free to give me more insight here. But there's got to be a way to do it with those clear validations and clear particular validation. It's just uh, being a little exploratory. I'm just having 10 more seconds in my brain here. Clear particular email must be specified. Break level fatal. Clear particular.
Try to change it to maybe warning, but warning should be yellow.
Talking about warning?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a fatal. Run at startup is blocking auto run. I'll try one more thing and then I'm going to jump back over to Tristan. Thank you guys for your patience too. I know we're kind of all over the place today, but just want to try one more thing here.
Oh, hold on. Instead of build data, just get the whole thing, that first one. Yeah, just the whole thing.
Mm-mm. Okay. Alex, I'll work on it. I'll send you an email. I might have Jared take a look at it too, because Jared's got a big brain for these um particulars. He's really good at figuring out the particular solutions for particular problems. He's very good at that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem. And then Tristan, let's take a look back at yours. So I see your so we got basically a category on the far left, file name, file
Yes.
size, and then a view document on the far right.
Yeah.
And then you have a secondary one. Where does
Yes.
the secondary one is a whole separate form?
So I sent you, this was the first solution we had on the right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That is what I want to achieve is I want to, you'll see the categories at the top,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's a repeater. So it repeats through all the categories, and then each category has a bunch of files. And then, no, I lost my photo. So we used that, it's called a data grid, I think. But the problem is now with viewing now. I can't stick a button there to view the file. So we would like to, so then we came up with the solution on the left, which is not ideal, but it works, where we rather, I just had to hack and put all the files into one data structure and then just give them a category in one of the fields. And then I can put it in one repeater and then display the category on the left and then have a button. So what I would prefer to have is, in a sense, a repeater, and within the repeater, another repeater repeating through the files, creating that thing that says file name, file size, and a view. But from what I've seen, it's not really possible to embed repeaters with one another.
Right.
Mm.
So, but you said you did like the one on the right, but you didn't, you don't have the option to view.
Yeah, so I would like a little bit more customization over those fields, because as you can see as well on the bottom one, the way like the last one has one file in it and then a bunch of white space underneath, which is something that they specifically asked we need to remove, is all the
Okay.
white space, because they want to effectively use the screen. So I was like, with the data grid, I don't have that much flexibility to do something like that, or add a button, or add just
Yeah.
more custom, you know, a
Yeah,
way to
because
customize.
the data grid, you're kind of locked into the report in which it's
Yeah,
reporting over.
yeah.
Let's think here.
So it's yeah, we've spoken a lot from, like, I came from Decision as a developer,
Oh, okay.
so from a programming perspective, it's quite simple to just maybe embed a loop or something, but it's difficult to get that now transitioned into a software like this.
Robert, I've done something like this with JavaScript control, and that changes CSS um, on a fly, let's say. So for example, when you add repeaters within the repeaters and stuff like that, but JavaScript can, I mean, it's not easy to maintain.
Yeah, I'm just thinking here on my own here. Um, yeah, so what could be a path to do that?
And Tristan, also,
Hmm.
it is possible to embed data repeater within data repeater, but it's not really a good idea.
Okay. I've haven't seen, because if you put in a data repeater, I'm just speaking now, I think if you'd got, there's no, you can't now. I think if you search there, there's no repeater in there now. You see. So how do I put in a repeater now? The only way I know is, yeah, I think you can do you can have a button, a sub dialog button, and then put in another form, and then put in another repeater, I think.
Oh, Robert, did you remove that? Because I was able to do so, but I did have a lot of bugs.
We're also working on 8.18, I think. I don't want to lie, but I'm not sure. Let me just quickly see what ours is.
We have 8.12. I don't really have an 8.18, but I can 8.8. Yeah, we have 8.20. Oh, we have 8.19. Apologies on this version.
Why am I not seeing?
If you click on the face on the top right and then about.
Yeah, we've got 8.18,
Okay.
0.7, but yeah. But I don't think anything changed since then. But I know it's not ideal to embed repeaters, but it for the sake of, like, the front end perspective, it is. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Also, Tristan, is your case includes lots of data changes, or is it just the display data?
No, it's just display. It's not going to
Oh,
have any
I
changes.
I would just create a flow that builds HTML um, based on your data and creates nice looking HTML and displays it on the page.
Can you
That's
then,
really
yeah?
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's really easy, and you can create something like accordion type of thing where you can click and expand more
Yeah.
data underneath. It's not hard to do. I've done that
Okay.
lots of times. If it's
Can
just
you?
display data,
Yeah. Sorry. Can you then? Is it possible to make the HTML interactive in the way that you can add a button that then
yeah,
calls back to decision to do something?
sure.
Oh, I've never done anything like that. I didn't even know that's possible.
I use so basically I create a flow that gets data from different sources and builds up like HTML on the fly, and then I can do some if that thing does not require lots of interactions back and forth, but looks nice.
Okay. How do I display the HTML? How do I? Is there a
HTML
step in there?
display on the form. Yeah, on the form just
Oh, okay. That's
display HTML.
okay. So sorry, I've only got like 3 months of decisions. Like, so I'm still learning.
Yeah, me too, man. We're all learning. VT is a resident expert
It's
around
good.
here.
That's why we have these meetings, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, I probably shouldn't call my form, but my brain is.
But it's only like lunchtime for you guys now.
Yeah, it's lunchtime. Yeah, we'll
It's
be.
6 o'clock in the evening with me now.
Yeah, well, a lot of our customers in the morning that do the morning sessions are in IST India time, so it's like 10 o'clock p.m. when it's 9 a.m. here for us. So
Oh wow.
yeah, it's 12:42 on our time. Oh yeah, so HTML display, yeah, I'm not familiar with it either, but if VT, if you want to give them more insight, and again, it's one of those things where uh you got me,
Okay, and
I'll take
then
it.
yeah, I see the source type. You can probably then just set that to like a string. Doesn't have to
Yeah,
be
that's gonna
URL
be like
data or
data.
static.
Yeah, and you
Okay.
just name it. Uh, it should change from URL to be data name. Yeah, from data. So basically, that's gonna be your input.
Okay. And then if I were to put a button within the HTML, does it pick it up as a trigger or something?
It depends on how you build your HTML, and yeah, you can basically you can use some JavaScript in it to find an like a hidden decisions button, so you can I don't know what's going to be the purpose of that button.
To view the document. So it's I don't know if you can see the screenshot I sent to the email, but on the first one, it has a view button on each of the files.
Okay.
So there you go. Yeah. So it'll have a button. So it is display, and then but just a button there that if I press it, it should view. But should I then
And
incorporate the view within the HTML itself as well?
well, basically, the easiest way that I would do it when you create that HTML in that button, basically you will have like decisions flow somewhere sitting that will accept the document ID, and basically on HTML it will call decisions flow as an API.
Okay. Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can fool around with that. Is there any good documentation? Maybe like a link that I could get for this,
Let's see.
for the HTML,
Yeah, let me look
just
here.
how, especially how decisions would interact with HTML.
I can probably send you an example of what I've done if you want me to.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome.
So that's for the HTML viewer in the form.
Okay.
But like I said, outside of that, I think we're in the VT realm, and it's a world I've never been into before.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely. That might be because that leaves me with a lot of what to customize it as I want to. Yeah, so that might be actually a good idea.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you guys. And BT, I'm appreciative that you're always in here and helping. You're a beast. So I'm going to go ahead and, unless you got another question or anything else I can clarify, I might go ahead and end it here, just so I can get on Alex's ask and make sure that we're getting his ticket resolved. But I think that is it for today, unless anybody's got anything else for me.
I'm good. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of y'all's day. Thank you all again.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.